Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joy Hope Thanjekwayo. I am doing psychology and sociology. I'm in my final year. Hopefully, hoping to continue. So today I'm just going to share a bit about myself and be open and give tips on how I made it. Hopefully it might just help the next person. So the first thing I'm going to speak about is how when I was growing up, I always wanted to constantly be alone, and I thought that independence is key and independence is actually being alone. Well, for me that was a lie. As I grew up, I learned that you actually need people around you. You constantly need to be heard by other people and allow yourself to, listen to what other people are saying and actually to be vulnerable as well. So that's the things that I have learned in my years growing up. I remember when I first came to university, I knew absolutely no one. Had no friend, no mom, no dad, not even a cousin. So it was really horrible, and I was always that girl that just wanted to be in her room and then go to church, and that was it. But as the months went on, I realized that that didn't help me. So I think that's one thing that you also need to learn, right? Going or moving forward in life, is that no man is an island. It is all these statements that are so cliche, but they actually make sense. And it's some things that we take for granted because you always tell yourself that, no, I'm going to do this alone, or I'm alone, or whatever. But it really doesn't make sense. So always do allow yourself to be around people. But being around people doesn't mean that you're going to constantly be dependent on them, right? Or seek validation from them. Being around people doesn't mean that they tell you what to do. It's just you having company, because even in psychology it says that people need company. Even in the Bible, the Lord said it's not good for men to be alone, right? So we actually do need people. So yeah, that's the first thing that I would advise on. Secondly is forgiveness, right? So I remember when I was hurt. I know this is cliche because I'm a girl and people are like, oh, you're telling us about boys and whatever. But it's what is relevant, and it happens to males as well. I was in a relationship. This boy, we were dating like mid-month, and now you're telling me you have another girlfriend and things are serious. And I'm like, what? I just did everything for this guy. How can he say that, And this could be another male experiencing the same thing, where he gave his all to a particular female, And now she just does this person wrong, right? And then you tell yourself that, I was so stupid. Why did I do this? I shouldn't have done this, or I shouldn't have put myself in this situation. But it's okay, right? So certain things really needs to happen for you to actually grow from them and for you to learn something from it. So, like I said, I was so angry with myself, and I was like, I'm so stupid. How could I have let such an ugly boy, and I started calling him ugly just, to comfort myself. I'm like, such an ugly boy do this to me. And he's not ugly, he's quite hard, but then, yeah. So, with that being said, I started spending time with myself, and I was like, okay, Naledi, what did you learn from this? What did you take from this? And I was like, okay, Shruti, maybe there's some things that I did wrong here and there, and I was at fault. I was very bad in communicating and making time for the next person, And then he was also had his own faults and stuff like that. But I learned to focus on me and what I didn't do, or what part I didn't do. And because I understood that, and understood that for me to continue, or for me to be happy in life, is for me to forgive myself for allowing myself to be in that situation. And it could be anything that you failed at and you feel like, oh my God, I'm a failure, or I don't deserve this. You do deserve it. That just wasn't your time. Your time is going to come, but you need to allow yourself to heal. Because what I've learned is that at that point when I was constantly angry at this person, I would let beautiful opportunities pass me because I'm so nasty and I'm bitter. I'm not allowing myself, to just live because I'm hell bent on this particular person or this particular situation that I'm not free. So the moment you forgive yourself and you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you start to be free. And through your mistakes, that's where you actually learn. You learn that, oh, okay, Shruti, this is not my strong point. This is my strong point, right? So forgiveness is key. Forgive yourself. More than anything, you should learn to just forgive you. You are important to you. So imagine if you are not loving you or if you are not forgiving you, who's going to do it for you? Because at the end of the day, whoever made you angry, they're living their lives and they're happy. You're the only one now sad because nobody cares. You're the one that goes to bed with you. You're the one that are stuck in thoughts because now you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm stupid. No, just let it go. It happens. You're human. You're bound to make mistakes. And through mistakes, that's where you even learn. And people are constantly also going to hurt you. But that shouldn't be something that changes who you are and what do you believe in, My next point that I'm leading to is never change who you are because of what happened to you. If you were a person that was always giving, and just because someone stole something from you, now you feel like I can't give anymore because this is what this person did. No, you can't do that. That is now you changing your whole self. So that means your life revolves around other people like me. And just because that person hurt me doesn't mean I'm not going to be in a relationship anymore just because of them. No, my life doesn't revolve around those people, Just because my friends hurt me in my past life and when I expected them to be there the most doesn't mean that I'm going to stop being the person that I am just because they weren't there, right? So you constantly need to not change who you are. If anything, you need to change for the better. You need to evolve for the better. If you are a good person, you need to grow and be an even better person because that's just who you are. And that's what you stand for. In psychology, they say that for people to have sanity, they all ought to believe in a higher power, right? And the higher power I believe in is God. And with God, He created me to be unique. So meaning with all these millions of people, I am unique, right? So which means that you are unique yourself. So there is something that you are bringing onto this earth that we actually need as a people or as a nation as a whole. So if you are now constantly going to change just because Mbali said this, and this, and Tabo said this, it doesn't make sense. Where's your uniqueness? Live your uniqueness. Live your truth. If this is you, live it. And be content with who you are, right? And with the thing of living your life and being you is that I remember when I came to varsity, on my first day when they were doing the welcoming, when Thanjekwayo was like, yeah, y'all need to get a husband. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. But then, my mom was like, but Naledi, you have such a good heart. People are going to play with you. And I'm like, Mom, imagine if I were to change having a good heart. And now all of us in this planet have ugly hearts. How are we all going to live, right? So what I'm trying to say is that your role is important for us. So whatever you bring is what is needed. So like I said to my mom, I'm like, Mom, if ever we're all going to have ugly hearts, then we're not going to be happy. Then we're not even going to please the Creator Himself. So I ought to live out my truth and who I think I am, right? And then through that, there's one thing that I want to advise you on, and this is what I've learned as well, is that you really get to know who you are when you allow yourself to spend time with you, right? Having people around you doesn't constantly mean that they have to be there 24/7. No. Like, you need to get to a point where you love being you. you know, to a point where you say, if God were to create me again, or if I were to be created again, I want to be the same me I was. Because you've spent time with you, and you love you, and you acknowledge who you are, right? Like me, when I sit and I'm like, yo, if I were to come back on this earth, I want to be this gal, because, yo, I just love me, you know, and I just love my personality. It's not about physical things. I don't have much. I really do not. And I'm not going to say, yeah, I drive a Lamborghini. No. I like the fact that I'm me and the personality that I have, you know, and all the things that I've been through. Even my past, my childhood past, I was hurt by my cousins and all of that. But I wasn't stuck in that time. Through spending time with myself, I then learned, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Joy, you're such a nice person. You were able to forgive this person, and you're able to forgive yourself, and look at you now. There are people that actually look up to me. I never thought I'd ever get here. I never thought I'd ever be anything. Like, even in high school, if you can look at my history now, and in high school, it's totally different. In high school, firstly, I used to fail. I used to be very bad. I used to be that 40s kid, okay? After that, I didn't have much friends. I'd constantly be in the house. I'm not going out. What are people going to say? This girl, she's like this. Or this girl, you know, she doesn't have much. We can't hang out with her. Because my friends, they were bowling at that time, you know. So I suppressed myself because of that. And I constantly wanted to change who I was to fit there, you know. And then I came this side, and I thank God that I actually made it to Val, you know. And my first journey started when I got to Faranani, one of the biggest residents, the best for me. Thank you. So when I got to Faranani, like I said in the beginning, I knew absolutely no one. My intentions were only to know one person, and that's it. And then I started going to church, and then I met other people, and then I met people that are now, when I introduce them, I say, oh, this is my cousin. Oh, this one is my friend. Oh, you know, and I had met them here, but I feel like I've known them for a very long time. So yeah, I then pursued my journey of leadership. And for a girl that was always quiet at home, that was always in her room, it was shocking that I would be able to speak in front of like 400 people. When I was in grade 9, they had nominated me for being RCL, my class. I don't know why they did that. I don't know who asked them to do it, but they did. And so I thought that, no, you'll just ask people in the class to just sign the register and then you get there. But things changed, and they were like, no, you're going to speak in front of the assembly. And then I was like, what? This girl's not crazy. I'm not doing that. I dipped, and then I went back into the line, and I'm like, I'm not doing this. And then to me, at that time, I was like, okay, leadership is not for me. I'm never going to do this. I hate it, you know. And got to Faranani, like I said, I had a friend, he was like, okay, people like you. And I'm like, people like me? People don't know me, brother. What? You know? And then he was like, just do it. I did it. And when I was preparing my speech, I was stuttering the whole time. And I was like, oh, so my name is... And it was scary. I'm like, God, at 5, I'm going to be speaking in front of people, and I'm speaking like this in front of my 2 friends. What am I going to do when they get there? You know? But then I just was like, you know what? I'm going to step out of my comfort zone, and I'm going to do whatever that I can. I completely did that. I do not know what happened to the people. The people were rowdy, and my residence it was notorious. It was known for people that will constantly judge you just because you're young. Hey, who are you? What are you? Whatever. But when it came to me, it was quiet. And at that time, I was like, okay, I can do this. So my point here is that don't limit yourself. Don't set a limit for yourself. The sky is literally not even the limit, because there's a God and the God is above the clouds, right? So meaning the sky is not the limit. So you can reach wherever you want to reach. If you tell yourself that you actually want to do this, you can. And nobody can tell you otherwise. Nobody has that authority to tell you otherwise. Because at the end of the day, you are your biggest competitor. You are your biggest competition, literally. And you can achieve whatever that you want to achieve if you put your mind to it and if you have a different mindset. So I've moved from the mindset of, no, I don't want to do this, I don't want to ever be a leader, this is not for me, to speaking in front of people that are so older than me. Like, I'm like, oh, this guy is like my older brother's age. How am I going to speak in front of this person? Because I've never even dared to say anything to my brother. I was like, yo, can't. But then I did that. I allowed myself to move out of my comfort zone and believe in myself to actually do it. And I did it, and the term was great. Yes, we constantly in your achievements, you're also going to get hiccups where, you bump and then you fall. It's okay to fall, because through you falling, you actually just pick yourself up, you dust whatever dirt you have on you, and then you move. Like I said, in whatever situation that you go through, learn something from it. Allow yourself to learn. What have I learned from the hiccup that I've been? You analyze it. After you've analyzed, then you're like, okay, this is what I've learned. Then you take that, and through failure, you constantly build yourself. Because imagine if life was just a linear place. I think that's something that is, it's not going anywhere. You have to have your curves, you see different places, you look at things differently. Because if your life was just going smoothly one way, you have one perspective and you only look at things a certain way, right? So literally that it doesn't impact you really, because there's nothing that you've learned from it, right? And then with my leadership journey, as I continue, I became the first female Prim and the biggest resident. And I'm like, what? Me? This girl? I was scared of being RCL. Okay, I just became a PRO, Yana. Now, Prim, what? Me, am I going to do this? Am I going to survive? Oh my God. Lord, and with all of those older people, my stress is like, these people are older than me. And obviously, when you grow up from, traditional peoples, that you don't tell older people what to do, they tell you what to do. And I made it, and I made it into my office last year in August. Had the biggest support from the people that they my family, literally. Had the biggest support from them. The journey was not easy when I started it, and I was crying, and I was like, Lord, did you really, really create this for me, or was it just a scam or something? Did you want to make fun of me? Because now other people that I had depended on, people that I would literally pray with, they're not here, God. They're not, they're not being supportive. They're not showing me that they're here for me. But when I wanted to start this journey, they were there, and they were like, oh my gosh, yes, you're gonna do it. They were not there. So I asked myself, I'm like, okay, so is this a joke? But then through that as well, I was like, okay, it's fine. What I've learned there in that particular situation is that sometimes you're going to have expectations from people, and it's not a bad thing, but you need to know that expectations comes from you. So it's like, when you do good for you. You're not doing good for the next person. So when you open the door, gentlemen, when you open a door for a lady, you do it because you want to do it out of the goodness of your heart. You can't expect them to open the door for you just because you opened the door, right? So it's not reciprocal. So expectancy is really not reciprocal. It's just something that is one-sided. So I didn't know that, and I had this expectation from people that were there when my journey started. I'm like, they're gonna constantly be there for me, and and they weren't. And I had expectations, and some even were like, yeah, well, I don't ever want to be with you, and I don't ever want to see you do this alone and whatever. And I'm like, but I need you. And then you were alone. And through that, that's where also the wilderness is, where you are in a dry situation and you literally don't know what to do. But trust you me, you see, when you start forgiving yourself and when you start allowing yourself to be vulnerable to a situation, you grow from it, because now you are allowing yourself to be in that space. And I was like, okay, people are not always going to give me what I expect from them, and it's okay, because expectancies, like I said, it's from you. It's up to you. Like, it's not the next person's business that you have expectancies. Deal with it on your own. So if you expect, always, just to save yourself heartbreak and drama, leave room for disappointment. You should know that it's going to happen. And when it happens, you just say, oh well, because you already knew. You're like, oh well, okay. You know the saying, it's cliche, it's old people take it for granted. They say that if you want something done, you do it yourself. And we think it's a joke when people say all these things, but they actually make sense. Because through your journey of life, you'll actually realize it. And you'll realize it all the more when you are climbing up the ladder of success, right? So through that, you'll see that some people are just there to just drag you down. Like they're pulling your feet when you're trying to step the ladder. But hey, you have hands. Like, do this to your feet, paddle them as if you are like in water, and then use your hands to climb up. That's just it. So that is the same way with the expectations. Okay, as I move on with my journey, I then started my Prim journey. Like I said, the beginning was quite rough. Then I started getting the hang of it. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm the gal, I have power, this is me, I got this, started walking on campus like, this gal. And then the girl was not the girl anymore. I then started having so many problems at the residence that I was in. And at that time, I really, really felt alone. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's just me, And I started doing this thing of shifting blame. I started saying, no, things are not going well because it's this person that is doing it for me, or it's that person that is influencing who to do this. But I didn't take the initiative to say that if that is the case, what are you doing? So you always need to ask yourself, if you're in a situation where, if that's the case, what am I doing? What am I doing to get myself out of here? So I allowed myself to be in it to a point where I even had mild depression. I even had mild depression, but through that, like I said, you allow yourself to be vulnerable in your situation. And I learned that some things, even though people hurt you, it's okay. People are there for a season and a reason, and they come and they go, and not everybody's going to be happy for you, and they're not supposed to. Happiness is subjective. It's yours. It's not objective, so it's what you think it is. And don't allow people to press you down or to be the writers of your happiness. Let it be yours, and whatever your achievements there is, you're going to fail in it. It's okay. You learn, you grow up, and you move, and you keep the ball rolling, and with all of that, with all of your achievements and your success, always be humble, because it's said that pride is the burden for the foolish. So if you have pride, you are a foolish person. You're not a smart person. Don't think so. Pride is not confidence. Don't confuse it. So if you have pride, you're a foolish person. Lastly, please, don't be afraid to move out of your comfort zone. It is better to try and to fail than to fail to try. Thank you.